would CNN
What
publish
industry
this?
standards?
Why? For one reason. For
this
one
poll is
reason,
in line
Brian,
with
and
other
that's
networks'
because they
polls.
want to undermine.
Pretty much every poll
and
shows
let me
Trump
finish.
losing
They
to
want
Biden.
to undermine. That's not true. You polled adults, not registered voters, not likely voters, but just
That's a normal
adults.
polling procedure.
And that is not the industry standard. And so that's showing President Trump 14 points behind when a Zogby poll that was released June 11th that actually polled likely voters, not just adults, that you had the audacity to publish, showed President Trump 8 points ahead. In other polls, they're showing reasonably tied. This poll was so skewed that the margin of error was 14 points behind. The only reason that CNN published this is because it's junk science. You know that, and you know that if your poll had showed the inverse and showed Joe Biden 14 points behind, you wouldn't have published this poll. And so what America understands, Brian, is that you're not journalists. You're not putting out facts. You are putting out activism,
so
and
is this
that's
the strategy?
why you're fake news. And
is
why
this what
your
you're going to do
ratings are so
between
bad.
now and November 3rd? Anti-media strategy all the way to Election Day?
Peddlers
you
of
understand
false
that like someday you're going to regret
you have
this,
for the
right?
past 3.5 years.
Someday you're going to regret this when your kids and your grandkids look back at this time and you use slurs and smears like fake news to hurt news outlets.
No, but debate, Brian,
Jenna,
you can't even come on.
I think in 10 or 20 years, if we just sit down and talk about this, you're going to recognize how damaging it was. How damaging it was to use terms like fake news, to attack journalists who are trying to do their jobs.
In 15 or 20 years, you're not trying to do your job. You're not a journalist, Brian. You're an activist. That's the problem. You have an agenda, and your agenda is anti-Trump. The American people see through that, and they are very grateful that this president is finally holding the fake news media accountable because you're activists. You're not reporting fact and truth. You won't even say that as a general
the reason why I think it's helpful to have these conversations
shouldn't ever appear in a media outlet.
Folks have gotten used to these alternative realities, and I think it's important we see there are alternative realities. And Jenna, I appreciate you coming on to talk about it.
How can you as a journalist sit there, Brian, and you know what? I want to
one
wish
more bit of
President
Trump
Trump
news
a very
to share
happy
with you.
birthday from CNN.
If you're wondering the extent to which this administration will go to protect Trump's ego, the answer is apparently sending its lawyers on national television to defend taking legal action against the news outlet for publishing the results of a poll that Trump didn't like. This is all in reference to the fact that CNN published a poll showing Biden leading Trump by 14 points. The Trump team is claiming that the poll didn't have a high enough percentage of Republican respondents, whereas CNN maintains that the percentage of Republicans is consistent with other major polls. And yet, even so, the White House tried to flex its authoritarian muscles and threaten legal action against CNN, a move that backfired